Hi everyone, thanks for joining us at the third April meet. And today we have a very special session with us, which Arushi is going to speak more about. So I will let Arushi speak about what we have today for InfoSec Girls Meet.
Good evening, everyone. So today we have another insightful session at InfoSec Girls. Today, Shreya Pohekar, who is a engineer at TCS, and she leads the Bhopal chapter of InfoSec Girls along with me. So she will be explaining us about how to build CTF challenges from scratch. Also, she will be addressing different doubts that people have regarding CTFs. So if you have any of the doubts, please feel free to post it in the chat. So without wasting any more time, I'll give it over to Shreya.
Thanks a lot, Arushi. Thanks a lot, Vandana ma'am. So I'll share my screen. Is that visible?
That's very much visible.
Okay, I'll present. Okay. So today's topic of discussion is building CTF challenges from scratch. The overview of what this particular session will be containing. So it's a presentation that can help you get started. Means if you are totally new to this field and if you want to contribute into CTFs, then this is the correct talk for you. Okay. Okay. So who am I? I am currently working as a developer at TCS, and in my part time, I do all the InfoSec stuff. And right now, I have been leading InfoSec Girls Bhopal chapter and Nal Bhopal chapter, and I am a RHCSS certified. I also blog about technical things. It's both technical and infosec. And you can follow me on Twitter at Shreya Pohekar. And same, you can reach out to me over LinkedIn as well. You just need to search Shreya Pohekar. So that was about me. So today's agenda, why build a CTF? First of all, that's very important question to answer. Then prerequisites, if you want to build a CTF, then what the basic things that you need to know. Then a lot of categories of challenges that you can explore. Then the ops of CTF, that's a bit different area, but I'll be talking about it. And the final and the most important, hardening and testing the challenges that you create. So let's begin. Okay, so why build a CTF? I hope the points are visible. But yeah, there are a lot of benefits you get when you build a CTF and when you're part of a CTF team. So recently, I was part of a CTF team. And I learned literally about everything that has been listed here. So you get to know more about InfoSec and its concept. Uh, so yeah, that is one thing. You get better at ops because obviously your challenges are gonna be hosted somewhere. Then you get better at server hardening. So server hardening is a place where you need to secure your things that you're building. Then you get better at Docker. So this is the field you'll be getting an expert at because it involves a lot of use of Docker. Then you get better at Kubernetes. This is optional, means it depends on the whole CTF team. If they are employing Kubernetes, then obviously you'll learn something about it. Then you get better at automation. Yes, like the CI/CD things, all the stuff, means everything is automated. So yeah, you learn about automation. Then you learn about cloud technologies. Why? Because these CTFs are hosted on AWS or Azure. So you learn about the different features and all that. Then you get better at testing. Why? Because there are a lot of teammates, obviously, who build their own challenges, and the thing is, like, you need to test their challenges for anything, like the intended way as well and the unintended way as well. So it's the fundamental of what we do at bug bounty or like VAPT. So it really builds that mindset of testing, and you get better at dev because obviously the most of challenges that CTF have, they require dev. So be it any language, you get better at it. So yeah, that was like the advantages of when you are part of CTF. You learn like dev, sec, and ops, everything. So it's okay. So prerequisites, like if you are at the very beginner level and if you want to contribute to any CTF, then these are the four most important things that you need to know. Okay. Although you can literally null out everything if you want to contribute in OSINT challenges, but apart from OSINT, these are the four things. Docker, obviously, because um, everything that you make, every challenge that you make, it has to be dockerized. Like it can be done on a virtual machine and stuff, but I'll be talking about that later, that why we always dockerize the challenges. Okay, then the basic dev, obviously, as I told that dev is required for any other challenge that you build in CTF. So like, it would be like 5 lines of code, but there is code. Okay, so that's why. Then GitHub is important because every collaboration that you do with all of your teammates requires GitHub for um, like collaboration, and git push, git pull, git commit, git rebase, git log, git history, all that stuff, basic stuff. But yeah, you need to be aware of it, like how it works and all that. And then Linux specifically, because CTF challenges don't really always involve Windows things. So everything is initially built on Linux. So a basic knowledge of Linux would help. Okay, so that was the prerequisite thing. So see, I cannot cover this whole thing because these are like whole of individual topics, and that would require another session individually. So I just can point you to the correct direction that you should look here and there, and you are good to go. So yeah, as I said that CTFs are not just about dev. Means if you are not interested in dev and still you want to contribute to a CTF, then still there are options for you. And yes, you can see it right here. It's OSINT, and there are a lot of other things as well. But yeah, OSINT is one such. Okay, so so categories of challenges that you can create. So I have listed here like 4 and 5, 9 categories I've listed, but it literally depends on the creativity of the creator, like on which field he or she has to create a challenge. Like when I was working in a team, there was a person who created a challenge around machine learning. So it totally depends like what you're thinking, how you want to make a challenge. So these are just the basic that every CTF challenge use, like every CTF team or the one who organizes the CTF, they use these like prominent categories. So first is OSINT, as I told that OSINT is open source intelligence, like you are using the internet for all the information that is publicly available. So I'll be here taking some examples. Like I created 6 challenges around various categories. So to explain you better, I'll be using those as a reference. So OSINT does that. Like to give an example, like you create a username XYZ on Twitter as well and on Instagram as well. Okay, then you are posting from that XYZ user that like a lot of random tweets and all that. But in one of the Instagram posts you have leaked a password. Okay, so you want your like the participants of CTF to like get to that particular post so that they can find a password, right? So once they find a password, you need to like create a CTF in such a way that that he needs to now guess that okay, there are 2 accounts, Twitter and Instagram. So now a Facebook account with same XYZ username exists. So when the people, like when the participants find out that okay, Facebook is also existing, so now you have got the password. So you can simply log in with that particular username and password, and in one of the posts you'll find his flag maybe. So this is how a CTF works basically. Like you need to find the flag. That's the end motive, end goal. Okay. So it's a very simple example, but yeah, there can be like anything. You can be very creative around this thing. There is a tool called Sherlock that is used for like enumerating all the social media sites on which your account, like the XYZ account, exists. So, like challenges like these, they do not really require any knowledge of dev. Okay, means you just need to be like anyone can create it, right? There was one another interesting challenge that I found. So in OSINT, there is an image that is a QR code image, okay, and you have like overlap that image with some random image, okay, like a poster or something. Okay, so now the QR code is not visible, and that whole thing has been converted into a PDF. So that like combined image is now part of PDF. So the goal is that you need to scan the QR code, and once you scan the QR code, you get the flag. So the two approaches, it's just the one. One is the online tool that is photop.com, and the second is Photoshop. Like if you open that particular PDF in photop.com, for example, so it will give you the layers. Like the first layer was my QR code image, the second layer was my overlapped image. So when you remove that overlapped image, your QR code will be perfectly visible, and you can scan the QR code and you can get the flag. Okay, so that's how OSINT challenges work. And you can be like creative in your own ways. You can create whatever new tool or whatever new site you find that can be used for OSINT. Okay, that was OSINT. Reverse engineering, I will cover this later. Privilege escalation, as in okay, mm, I'll stop sharing for a while. Just a sec, because my Arushi's screen is visible. Okay, so I was talking of privilege escalation. So here, it's a great site, because if you are new to something like Linux and you are not willing to set up your own Linux environment, then you can like literally get your own environments here. Like this, you just write Ubuntu, playground Katacoda, and you will find, uh, yeah, environment that is being exclusively given to you. So okay, when you do ls, you literally can run any command in here. Okay, so this gives you an environment where you can practice all these things out. Same like Linux, there are playgrounds for Docker, Kubernetes, and Docker Swarm, and a lot of them. So if you are lazy to set up all those things in your local machine, you can go out and try Katacoda for everything. And it also gives you scenarios here, like what commands to run and what will happen when you run a certain command. So it just works very well. Okay, so that was Katacoda. Okay, so when building a privilege escalation lab, here suppose when I do a ls on slash home, you get a you get a just a sec. Is the screen still not visible? All right, I'll try sharing again. But I was Actually, Arushi, you need to bring it back to stream. Only then it will work. Um, add my window, the window that has been shared to stream.
Hi, Shreya.
Okay, now the screen is visible, I guess.
Yeah, it's visible. Can you just please share the presentation?
Yes. Is that
Sure.
visible? Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Um, okay, so where was I? I was just showing that the Catacoda is a platform where you can get the isolated environment for yourself on anything like Ubuntu, Docker, and Kubernetes and Docker Swarm. And there are a lot of things. You can just go to catacoda.com and it will give you a lot of scenarios to practice on. And it explains the command that it's using and so on and so forth. So for privilege escalation, the thing that I was telling is like if you are building a challenge around this, so there you can see here is a user called Packer. So with su hyphen Packer, you can switch to the user Packer. Okay, so now you can see that I am logged in as Packer. Okay, initially I was logged in as root. So the task of this CTF challenge is to become root. And right now you are Packer. So the thing is you need to like maybe install something on this particular machine or the your challenge machine that in some way or the other you are able to escalate your privileges from Packer to root. And when you do that, you get the flag. So that's the concept of privilege escalation means obviously the Packer user cannot do everything on the machine, but the root user can do everything. So once you do that, once you get the things, you are completely done and you get the flag in somewhere like flag.txt or something. So I'll give a reference in here, which I created a challenge. Hmm. Okay, so the challenge name was binary bits, and initially I was giving the access to admin user. Okay, admin is user just like other user Alice, Charlie, and something something. So here, to priv ask from, we need to priv ask to Dragon, and the Dragon user has the flag.txt file. But now, like how to get there? So there is a thing called linpiece.sh that enumerates for juicy information on the Linux system. Okay, so once you run the script with the admin user, you will get a thing something like this that says that sort is a binary on which SUID bit is set. So SUID here means that the user can run it with the privilege of the user that has that has set the sort binary, the SUID bit. Like this SUID bit sort, it has the ownership of Dragon user. All right. So if you run this, like the admin runs this binary, then he'll be effectively running the binary as Dragon. Okay. So that's the concept of SUID bits. And with the help of the sort thing, is a GTF bin project where all the privas things are listed, like how you can privas with different binaries. Okay, so once you do that, you get the okay. There is huh. So you need to just run this command, and this I found out with the GTFO bins. And once you do that, you can go to the Dragon's directory and you can directly get his uh, flag file, and that's name was pressure.txt. So the hints were given that you need to identify the file name as well and so on. So that was the scenario here. Um, Okay, so that was Prevask. Steganography is another thing like OSINT only. The steganography is a concept where you hide text within an image or a MP4 file or a PDF file. And so the concept here is like you are not using any kind of encryption here. Means the text is perfectly visible. You just need to identify that there is some text. So with encryption, we convert text into gibberish, but here it's like security by obscurity. Okay, so the stego, I'll give another example in here. So there was a challenge. The website was created, NC Airlines was created by some other teammate, but I had a challenge in here. So this is an image that uh, has some hidden text. Okay, but first, the very first thing is you need to identify that, okay, this can be a potential challenge. Okay, so once you get it, you just need to download this particular image and then you need to run exec tool. Okay, exec tool is available for Linux. So once you run this command, you get a lot of metadata for this image. Okay, so in the comment it says paste this code. So paste this code is like, again, from this you need to identify that paste can be referred to paste bin, and then you just need once you identify this, you just need to build up this URL, and once you build this paste bin URL, you will get a protected paste. Okay, so paste bin, if you are not aware, it's a site where you can paste your code and share some text information. Okay, like this you can create a new paste with a guest user as well. Okay, so that's paste bin, and once you complete that URL, you will get a protected paste. So now you need to identify the password. Now where you'll find the password? The password is right here in front of your eyes. It's the code. Okay, you need to enter it in lower caps and you get the flag. Okay, so that's how a steganography challenge can be created. There are a lot of you can use tools like steghide to like insert text with a password. Then you can you can make the participants brute force the password of your steganography image using some common word lists like seclist or rocku.txt. Okay, so that is how steganography challenges work. Sysadmin is more of related to privilege escalation thing only, because here you need to have some include some system administration thing, and that would be mostly in Linux. Then the web part. Web has a lot of vulnerabilities that you can build challenges around. You can build challenges around SQL. You can build challenges around SSTI, that is server side template injection. You can do local file inclusion, remote file inclusion, and a lot of things, means lot of things. You can build challenges around predictable cookies. Like with cookies, you can escalate your privileges, and once you escalate your privileges, you can like get the flag.txt or flag whatever. So that is web. So web challenges also can be in any language that you prefer. Then in the pawn, you have like you need to connect to a machine over some port, and then you are given some sort of functionalities. And with the help of those functionalities, you need to identify the vulnerability in the code, and with that, you need to exploit and then get the flag. Okay, so that is that. And Android, just like web, we have Android, means we can create vulnerable applications, Android applications, and you can use Flutter or Java and Kotlin as well. And you can like the vulnerable points there are like you are leaking flag in the manifest file, or you are leaking flag in strings.xml file, or you are leaking that in shared preference, or maybe databases. So that are all vulnerable points. And the thing is, like, rest depends on the creativity. How, like, you can always build the challenges in layers, not like just you solve a layer and you get the flag. It should not be that, because to increase the level of CTF challenge, you need to include layers, layers, layers. Means once you solve a particular thing, you get another clue and then another clue and then your final flag. So it makes it interesting and difficult as well. And the last is crypto and ciphers. So for crypto and ciphers, I want to show this tool, Cyber Chef, that has particularly every algorithm ciphers to encode, decode, encrypt, decrypt them. So for one of my challenges, I was using a fine cipher. So I'll just share a reference here. Um, okay. Huh. So, as I previously told that there is a tool called Sherlock. Okay, so Sherlock, what it does, it takes a username and then it like enumerates that what all like sites are having those usernames. So from that we identify that, okay, for this Trello thing we have our flag. Okay, so in one of the cards you can say see that a hint is given. First of all, a flag is given that looks like a gibberish, but there's a hint. A plus B equal to 6. And that A and B thing signifies that it's a fine cipher. And then you just need to brute force the value of A and B, that is 3. And you give here the input. Like I do it just like this, and I'll give the value of A 3 and B equal to 3. And I'll give that gibberish input, this one, and once it's done you get the flag. Okay, so that's how this tool works. And you can also like create a recipe out of it. Like you can include multiple steps. Like I have first use a fine, then I can do a MD2, then a MD4. So first it will do on the input like this. Okay, first it will do the affine, then it will do its MD2, then it will do its MD4. So it has got now 3 layers. Okay, so that's how this tool works, and it's an amazing tool for cryptography. So that was the challenge categories. But yeah, as I said, that it's not stick to this particular. You can literally create your own challenge out of some new technologies. You can maybe create around like abusing some AWS features, functions. There is a category called miscellaneous that has all the like challenges that cannot be categorized. There's forensics as well. So there are a lot of memes. Yeah. Okay. So as I was talking before, the ops of CTF. So this is totally a different team, you would say. But if you are more into cloud technologies and all that, you can be part of this thing. Or if you want to learn more about how ops works, so you can be part of this team. So when all the challenges are created, they have to be hosted somewhere, and that requires the ops. That's where the ops thing come in. Okay, so the most important thing that you'll learn from here is how to reduce the overall cost. Because if you are into a company as well, your client will all the time want that his work is done and in the minimalistic cost. Okay, so that's why we have these kind of certifications from AWS, the solution architect. Okay, so what's his job? He has the same job, that you need to get the work done with the minimum cost consumed. Okay, so when you are into this thing, you'll learn a lot that maybe should I use a VM, or should I use a Docker, or should I use any totally different service from AWS that will be like reducing my cost, and that perfectly matches my use case. So that's totally you're going to be learning. Then you also learn about advanced firewalls as well, because while creating CTFs or like hosting them, so there might be the case that you are opening up a lot of ports, and those are all unnecessary. So when you like do these kind of things, you are in particularly reducing your attack surface, because when you are like doing all these things, the hosting thing, always consider that whenever some participant will be participating in your CTF, there will be someone with a lot of like hacker mindset, that he will be like, I don't want to do challenge, I want to break the system. There can be people like that. Okay, so to protect your whole environment from all those things, you need things like firewalls and IAMs and roles and all that stuff. So try to build your environment the most secure way, and it's like exploitable in only the intended way, not any unintended way. So that's where it becomes very much important. So I'll be sharing in the resource section, like we were using Portainer. So Portainer is a you can say it a service that manages all the containers on a GUI. Okay, so it's like the Docker thing works on command line, but when you do it on large scale, you need some sort of statistics as well, like what all containers are working right now, like running, or who have stopped with some different status code and all that. So to like visually like it's just the visual representation of what you do in a command line. Okay, so it's Portainer, and it's very handy, very useful, and it's awesome. Okay, um the last thing, after that I'll be just sharing the resources. So hardening and testing the challenge. So this is the most important part of like creating a CTF, because when you create a CTF challenge, there can be a lot of times when you are like giving in some unintentional way out to exploit your challenge. Example, like you create a challenge, a web challenge, which requires username and password in order to get the flag. Okay, simple scenario. But you have coded your application in such a way that without giving the password, also you are able to see the flag. Okay, so that's a loophole in your code, because that's an unintended way. Okay, so testing is that's why required. Means when you create a challenge, you need to just look at it from a hacker's point of view, like how he'll be looking at and how he'll be exploiting, what tools he'll be running. Is your environment robust enough to like be there when some tools or DOS is going on and all that stuff? So you need to be aware of all those things as well. Otherwise, your system will crash, and then your challenge will not be available to all other like genuine users. So that things are need to be taken care of. So that was one of the part, like from my experience, um, there was a person who was called like 1 week before the CTA was there. So actually we had created all of our challenges, and he came in, and his task was to just test out all of our challenges. Okay, he was given the solutions as well. So first he was doing was like he was going with the intended solution that we provided, and then he was looking into like if there is a case where like the participant is able to delete some sensitive file like flag.txt. If he deletes that, then no one else will get the flag. So these are all the scenarios that he was looking for, and he actually found out a lot of like loopholes in the challenges, like for binary challenges. He found out that just doing the strings is like giving the flag, but the original intended solution was whole lot big. So these were small loopholes that were like creating the challenges very easy, or maybe they were exposing a lot of things that were not meant to be. So testing was here very important. And the thing that I realized was the challenge creator who creates the challenge, he always means he overlooks things, means they do not, means they always test for scenarios that they have created, and they somehow miss the cases that might get them into trouble. So it's always a better idea to, like, get someone else to test your challenges. It's best. Okay. And hardening, obviously, once you test, you'll realize that okay, a lot of problems are there. So obviously, then you need to harden things. So yeah. Then okay, this particular slide is done. Okay, now the resources. So I have included some resources which will also help you get started. Katacoda is done. So Katacoda, I'll like open it once again. See, here you can see 34 scenarios for Docker. Okay, means if you just do these 34 scenarios, yeah, you're good to go in Docker. Okay, means you'll literally learn every concept in there. Same for Kubernetes. You have got machine learning as well here. Okay, CI/CD, Jenkins, you can learn from here. Linux, if you don't want to set up your own VM, you can practice from here. Then you have got networks as well. Then cloud native as well. Then CNCF, this is good. So serverless. So it's all free and you can learn a lot. You can learn Git as well. So it's whole bunch of less than scenarios. So it's really great resource to get started with Docker and Linux if you are not aware of it. Um, okay, then play with Docker. This is, you can consider same as Katacoda, because with play with Docker you can pull up any Docker image. Okay. So Docker Hub is a public repositories that contains images, Docker images for literally everything. So if you want to create a web challenge, you'll probably be using HTTPD image. Okay, if you want your server to be Tomcat, you need to just write Tomcat and okay. So you just need to run this Docker pull Tomcat and it will pull the you'll get all the things that are required to run a Tomcat server. Okay, so that is how Docker works. And a list of tags means lot of tags are present. So the functionality of tag is like here, as I've written, Docker pull Tomcat. If you do a Docker pull Tomcat colon and any of this tag, you will be downloading an image that corresponds to that particular tag. Means apart from Tomcat, you need a JDK 8. Okay. If you want a JDK 11, you need to use this tag. So it works that way. Okay. And you should obviously read what is written over here, because it gives you the quick reference of how to use that particular image and like what environment variables you should use for that image. Okay, in the official docs you'll find everything for any image you use. Okay, so that is Docker Hub, and you can pull this image into play with Docker. We just need to log in and yeah, take time. So you can pull out any image from Docker Hub into this. Okay. Same works for play with Kubernetes as well. And see, it creates you a 4 hours of environment. So it's like enough time to practice things. Okay. And you can do it any number of times, basically. Um, okay. So that third, sorry. Third thing is Docker overview. That is, if you want to learn more about Docker, you can directly go to the official docs and you'll find everything you need to know about Docker. Then the fourth one is useful. That's just a one example of John. Even oh, sorry. So he is lot into CTFs and stuff. He has got his own YouTube channel, which is awesome. You can follow him. And yeah, this is his repo that he has created on like CTFs. Oh, I think I have opened up wrong repo. Okay. Uh, okay, I have. I can maybe copy from here only. I have to stop presenting. Okay, so here is the table of contents, like of on which particular category he had created his challenge. So 29. Okay, so this is a must visit GitHub repo. He's talking about a lot of different CTF scenarios, and if you want to know like how do I get an idea for CTF and all that, so the best way is to yourself participate in the CTF so that you get the ideas. You can collaborate all those ideas, collate it into one, and you can create a new of its own kind. Okay, so that's how CTF things work. And whenever you participate in CTF, always go through the solutions once they are posted, because that's most important. Means if you're stuck somewhere, you need to know that what was the exact solution. You'll learn a lot. um, okay, so the next GitHub link is also very nice, and it's Sunshine CTF whole repo. Okay, maybe I'll copy. So this I found way back. There might be other repositories existing as well, but I just wanted to show you this so that you get an understanding like how Docker files are being written. Okay, I'll just open web, and these are three challenges that they had. Easy one. Okay, so see how a Docker file is written. See, these are just 3 lines, okay? Because that was the only requirement of the app. That what it's telling that you need to go, you need to pull this particular Docker image from Docker Hub, and then you need to copy flag.txt into flag.txt and src into app. Slash app will be created when this image is pulled and a container is created from this image. So slash app will be existing there, and the contents this will be copied there, and you are exposing port 80 because it's HTTP, it's a web challenge. Okay, now you have got your flag.txt here and you've got your src here. So this thing you need to provide in your present working directory, then only the Docker file will identify that it has to put this into the container. Okay, so that was the easy one. I'll Okay, so this is an example where you need to use Docker compose.yml. Okay, so Docker files are used for challenges which require only one container, like the case we just saw here. But if you are using a multi-container system, and why multi-container, that also I'll be telling, then you need to use Docker compose files. So when multiple containers are linked together, a Docker network has been created, and then those two different or three different Docker containers can share things between them because they are networked. Okay, So, talking of the challenge, um, it has a web app and it has a database. The previous one didn't had a database. So for web app, we need to create separate Docker file that that is for specifically web app. So again, they are using this particular image, then they are doing apt-get, that's done on Linux to update and upgrade. And then they are installing particular modules and they are copying all the elements to slash app of the container. Okay, so that was this Docker file. And okay, and it has a flag.txt as well. And the second one, DB, so it has got its own Docker file and it looks like this, like you are using the MySQL server Docker image. Okay, so this is a different image now and you are copying the SQL like dump into this particular entry point directory, oh sorry, file. So um, this is how the dump looks like it will be creating a table user. First it will create database, then say the same SQL commands that we use, and it is all into a dump. So okay, so from Docker file, that particular container will be created with all this particular what I would say, the functionalities that we have asked to do it. Okay, so now when these two files are created, containers are created, the compose file will give the additional parameters like one-time password and all that environment variables in order to like build the whole thing, and this whole thing is a network. Okay, so we do not do things like I have taken a single Ubuntu image and I am installing the web service also and the DB service also in that. That's not the case. You need to use one container for each service that you create. Okay, the more the service, you need to increase the number of your containers. So that's how Docker files and compose file works. So I hope that is clear, but if you've got any doubt around compose and Docker files, you can ask. um, okay, so that was that link, and this I have added a cheat sheet which will make your life easy when you are using Docker, because I've added some commands in this particular blog that we don't really know or use, but these are really very helpful. So like commands like if you want to oh wait, I was commands on my okay, I cannot find it right now, but the command that, yeah, this. Like if you have created an image, it has got all of your contents, like the thing that you wanted to do. So you can literally commit that image. Okay. So to commit, you need to use this Docker commit command, and it will create a new image out of it. Means with all the things that you did in the previous image, and you can name it with the new image name, and you can move around that image using a tar file. Means you can directly convert your image into a tar file, and maybe you can send it to your friend to test it out or whatever, like. Okay, so this were some cool things that I got to know. Okay, then okay, these were the solutions. So the references that I was using was from this particular blog, and the container that I was telling, it's a like GUI management for all the containers. So like your 50 containers are running for 50 different like challenges. So you get a dashboard sort of thing with which you can manage everything. Means you from taking the shell to viewing its status and all the logs, like has the server crashed or not, you can find out, and Portainer just does the job for you. So you can really check out this. Means once you know the Docker thing, you should really check out this. Um, Okay, so that was the last reference link, and that was for this session. And if you have any doubts, you can reach me out on Twitter, LinkedIn, and yeah, thank you. Have a great day.
Hi. We actually have some questions. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Yeah. So one question that we had was, when people are starting with CTFs without any prior experience, so what are the
Mhm.
resources and the platforms that can be useful to learn, and what are the tools that they can go for when learning for CTFs as a beginner?
Yes, as a beginner, I would literally say it's the only one. It's the only one, and I literally feel like I didn't knew this thing before, because everything, like it's good thing if you want to go to official documentation and learn things. But since they have created scenarios, they literally tell you every single step that they are doing. So you can learn very well in that, and it's like progressive, like you start from the first, you go till the end, and you will learn everything. So as I said that there were four prerequisites of like building a CTF. Like need to know Dev, you need to know Docker. So Docker is done from here. Dev you can like it's preferred on the like it depends on the creator which language he has to use. Like if you want to create a web challenge, you can use PHP or Python, or maybe frameworks like Angular. You can create challenges around frameworks as well. So that depends on the creator. Then Linux also, I would say Katacoda has the environment. So you can like if you are very much into beginner phase, then you should go to Katacoda. But if you are somewhat experienced, you should really build up your own machine, like set up VirtualBox or VMware. VirtualBox is free, you can do that, and like set up your own machine. And John Heyman's YouTube channel, I would highly suggest. For it has got some like advanced stuff as well, but it has got the basic stuff as well. So you can definitely visit his channel. For he covers a lot of write-ups as well in his YouTube videos, like Google CTF and Pico CTF. He has literally explained all the challenges that he was able to do. So he this YouTube channel is a nice resource. And yeah, that's all the prerequisite. Means you just wherever you go on internet, if you find something, just think if it can be converted into a challenge. And if the answer is yes, go ahead and build. And whatever things are required to build that challenge, particular technology or anything, just go to the like documentations or search for any free courses. Like free code camp has got courses on every technology, I would say every technology, and they are quality courses. So you can just go to YouTube and like watch for like few basic things, and you can create your own stuff. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, thank you. Also, what are the the programming languages one should always know when they are either solving CTFs or creating some?
Okay. Um, for solving CTS, I would say Python is best. It's best. Why? Because it has got most number of libraries that are being used in CTFs. Okay. And the solutions also that you would find online. Like if you got a challenge in a CTF and there might be an existing solution beforehand, so if you go to internet as well, the solution creators would have posted the Python solution only. So if you like start off initially with some different language, then maybe it might the case that you are finding it difficult to understand what is being written, and all the tools that are used that are also mostly written in Python. Now they are going to like go. A lot of tools are going to go, but Go as in means Go programming language. Um, but Python is still, I would say, evergreen because uh, Golang would be popular, but like I'm saying, like most of the tools are right now in Python. So Python is a good to go language for CTF solving as well, creating as well.
Okay. And the last question is that, what are some concepts and topics that one should just brush up before, entering a CTF and start solving?
Start solving. Okay. Um, See, everything comes with practice. So the more number, the one solution would work, I would say, like pair up with members who already know things, because there are lot of tools, and you will be like, if you start from today, if you don't know anything, so it will be like it will the information will be overwhelming. So the better way is to like pair up with a person who knows something into CTF and he is into solving CTF, and then like sit with them and like ask them that why you did this, why you did that. So that will help you like with information and all that stuff, because the CTFs always happen in teams. So you can always form teams and do it, and that would be the best way to learn. But resources wise, you can literally write. Wait, just a second. A resource is CTF time. I wanted to cover this. See, it has got all the upcoming CTFs and the archives. Okay, past events. When you go there, you will get a lot of CTFs, and CTFs like Pico CTF are famous. Means these are good level CTFs. But see, you can see the list; it's so big. And you, when you click on any CTF, there is. Wait, I'm logged in as. Okay, maybe I'll check for Pico CTF. Maybe I'm logged in. That's why. Okay. Um. Oh, sorry, it's here. All the CTFs are all the time part of CTF time, because CTF time is a platform that gives more visibility to the CTF organizer. So more and more people register. Okay, so you can directly go to archive and write-ups, and you can view the write-ups of all the past events that have been like conducted. So see, here's the write-up. I no, that's a prize. I mean, I don't remember the exact directory, but you will find a lot of write-ups in here. So that will build a concept like how to solve a particular challenge category or whatever particular challenge. Because see, the things repeat after some time. So if you thoroughly go through this section, then you'll learn a lot about how to solve CTFs. Yeah.
Okay, great. So yeah. So that was it for this session, and yeah, this is it. And thank you everyone for attending it. Thank you, Shreya, for the insightful session. So we will be meeting next Saturday. Until then, goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.